Welcome back to the channel. Today we're with the MG4. For those of you who follow me on social media, you'll know that I've gotten this from MG Ireland on a long-term loan. I get a different car every week, sometimes it's only a couple of days, but it's good to get a car that I'm going to live with for a longer period of time. And I just want to do a base level review. It's been a couple of years since we've had it on the channel, and this is the upper level trim. Depending on which market you're in Ireland, we call it the exclusive. In the UK, I think you call it the trophy. And it's the middle-sized battery now. Our long range is what we call it in Ireland. It's 64 kilowatt hour. There's a smaller battery on the entry-level trim, which is 51 kilowatt hour. And there's now an extended range battery, which is a 77 kilowatt hour. But this is the upper level trim, medium-sized battery. And MG4 or MG Ireland are doing some serious deals at the moment. You can get the entry-level trim standard battery for 44 euros a week, or 26,000 euros. This one retailing around about that 31,000 euros. So there's great value to be had in it at the moment. So it's good that I'm living with it, number one. But number two, I'm going to give you a run through of it again, because you're probably seeing ads everywhere and you're wondering, is it as good as they're saying? The reviews that are out there have been a couple of years old. What's that change? And there has been a change on this. We now have a rear wiper, which wasn't on the original one. Semiconductor issues, etc. But we have a wiper now that people were not happy that we weren't getting one back in the beginning. So let's have a look around the outside, the inside, and then take it out for a long drive on the motorway up as far as Northern Ireland to Banbridge to test out that new fast charging hub. I'm going to do 120 kilometers an hour up. I'm going to do 100 kilometers back, so you can see the difference in the efficiencies of the MG4. Still a great looking car, even though it's been out a couple of years now. Comes in a couple of different colors. It comes in a pearl black, an ocean blue, dynamic red, a white, an orange or volcano orange, and then we went for the urban grey. And the difference between the upper level trim and the entry level trim, down at the bottom here, there's a different front splitter. The lighting is slightly different in it as well. So the upper level trim, the indicator and the daytime running lights, you'll see a difference on that. I have an initial video on my channel. This one also has the 360-degree camera. Down here, large MG badging. Radar guided cruise control unit down at the bottom as well. And you can see the daytime running light fins at the top here, but these indicators are down in the stripes here, and these are LED matrix. Matte black with some like carbon fiber effect down here. Real aero wheels, they're on Bridgestones, and we're on 235 45 18s. Some matte black cladding down along the bottom of the doors. A bit of a gloss black detail at the bottom of the A-pillar. Gloss black all the way around the doors here, no chrome. Glass black wing mirrors, 360-degree camera, indicators, and retractable keyless entry, keyless start. And another difference you're going to see between the top trim and the entry-level trim is spoilers on the top-level trim. It looks kind of funny to me without the spoilers. Some people have them, and obviously it's a personal choice. It might be down to the monthly repayments, but I don't know anybody that doesn't like it without the spoilers. And then, as we mentioned, we have the wiper now on the current level. And then on the upper level trim, you have like a translucent with that light bar that goes all the way across. This is a solid spoiler on the normal trim. Matte black down at the bottom then with some grey reflectors and that fog light. 363 litres, there's no difference in the trims. Has a multi-level floor, some tire inflation kit, and this floor pops up if you want it higher, and I can hide the cables in underneath. Comes with a domestic 3-pin charger, type 2 charging cable, some storage nets either side, shopping bag hooks. You can see the tie-off points. It's a 60-40 split. LED light at the back here then as well. Charging is on the rear left hand side. The supercharger corner, as I call it, 11 kilowatt on AC, and then on DC 10 to 80% in 31 minutes. So respectable on this larger battery. 135 I think is the peak on it. But overall I think it looks great. You can see this one hasn't been washed yet. We've only had it for 500 kilometers. Yeah. B segment hatch. This seat is set for me. And so on the door then you've got some textured plastic and then some soft touch leatherette with blue stitching, gloss black window tinted in. The top level trim goes all the way down. Two Isofix in the rear. You've got that leatherette with that dual fabric, and the Isofix is a actual Velcro strap. 3 headrests as well, and with this one up, limited space out the back now, rear visibility, because it is that hatch, it is that low down, small bit of a hump in the middle, and then my feet can fit underneath. Knees are just about touching and then 2 device holders at the rear and a magazine holder, 1 USB Type A in the center console, big storage area. That center console is way up, so if you're in the center seat, it definitely doesn't encroach on you. Not bad high support in the back of this as well, you can see it there. Headroom, 6'2", 188. Spin this around, no problem. I'm on headrest and there's about 2 centimeters, 3 centimeters. It is dark in here now. Sunroof would be nice, don't get me wrong, but otherwise it's not bad. Yeah, seats are comfortable as well. I've done 1,000 kilometers in the MG4. I did a video when I drove over to Farnborough in the UK for the fully charged show. On the driver door central locking, you've got your 4 window controls, and then the ability to lock the rear as well. Decent glove, side pocket, electronically adjusted seats. Nice bolster in them actually. A bit of gloss black going on around the place, not too much. You've got a silver element 2-spoke steering wheel. The minute I sit in and I press the brake, the car engages. Flat top, flat bottom, with a driver display and then a 10.25 inch fairly responsive infotainment screen. Some physical buttons at the bottom for volume, home, hazards, front and rear demister, and then the ability to turn on and off your climate control, which you can swipe down from the top and you can turn it on, turn off. There are big easy buttons to reach and then the tiles. It is a narrow display. Wireless charging pad on the top trim. Now it's wired Android Auto, Apple CarPlay, so I have my cable down here and you can feed it up through and you can have it in here if you want. Big drive mode selector, reverse neutral drive, and the park with the handbrake. Has electronic handbrake, MG electric, kind of this floating console. 2 cup holders down here, sliding storage tray, which is handy. A little pocket here with a net on it, and then that leatherette, vegan leather, man-made leather with that blue stitching. And not a bad little cubby hole down there. Glove box, push button, good size, nice and wide. And then you've got your gloss black central strip that goes all the way along. Yeah, it's been good. On the left-hand side, you've got your voice, your cruise control, which is adaptive, and you increase or decrease and then you can shortcut button here. You also have a shortcut button on this side, so you can change what are on each of those shortcut buttons. Phone, menu, and then the ability to increase or decrease your volume, your tracks on the right-hand side. The gloss black at the 6 o'clock position. Steering wheel is reach and rake, up, down, in and out. And then you've got your 3-zone screen. Let me zoom in on that so you can see it. So driver, vehicle awareness, your central screen then, and on the right hand side then you can change what that is. You can put it to navigation, you can put it to the settings of the screen itself, your audio, tire pressure monitoring, and then you can see from start, but I'll run through that now in a second when we're out for a drive. Let me zoom back out again. Headroom in the front for me, loads, 8 centimeters. Good driving position, and I said I've had it in the initial drive in the UK. We've done coast to coast in it. I've also done that 1,000 kilometer drive as well. So I've gotten very used to the MG4, and it's just gotten better with that. Infotainment has been upgraded since the Gen 1, and the rear rain wiper as well. I didn't find it an issue when I drove over to the UK, and there was rain on that journey as well. Electric motors. There is an X-Power one if you're interested in your hot hatch, but we have the exclusive long range trim is what we currently are driving, and it comes in 5 colors. Apologies, the exclusive long range doesn't come in white. It's got black, blue, grey, red or orange. It has app as well, which I'll be doing a separate video on. I have done a dash, if you're interested in the MG4, and connecting to the app and how you pair your QR code, etc. It has MG Pilot, but the adaptive cruise control, it's very good. It has 5 drive modes. It's a rear-wheel drive. And it's got a 50-50 weight distribution, which is very, very important. It has a 150 kilowatt electric motor with 250 Newton meters of torque, 0 to 100 in 7.9 seconds. Has the ability to preheat the battery, which I've been doing on these journeys that I'm going to be doing up and down to Banbridge. Yeah. Now, that's the interior and exterior of the MG4. As I said, I'm going to take it for a drive up to Northern Ireland. We'll do a bit of an understanding as to how it feels driving wise. Then we'll do a longer journey up to Banbridge, Northern Ireland for FastNed. We'll have a look at that charging hub, and I'm going to go 120 kilometers an hour up, 100 kilometers an hour back, so you can see the difference in the efficiency. So there is no actual physical start-stop button. The key that's for the MG is a 3-buttoned, and the ignition, the switch, the on-off switch is the seat, and then press the brake and off you go into D mode, and you can change the level of regenerative braking through the screen, or you can set up one of the shortcuts for that. There are 3 levels, and there's the different modes as well, as we talked about. Super smooth, super quiet. Yeah, and the steering wheel isn't too light, in my opinion. I think it's a nice weight. Visibility, blind spot on this upper level trim. Wing mirrors aren't huge, but they're good enough. And it's got a nice little window down here at the bottom of the A-pillar. Small bit of a blind spot in front of the A-pillar, but nothing too much to write home about. Visibility is not bad out of the back window. With that center headrest, I know they've included it for a third person. I think I'd prefer it without it. There's definitely much. I'd probably take it off if I didn't need that. If I knew I wasn't going carrying a third passenger. There's another MG4. Android Auto, very capable as well. Overall, it's a really good package. And when it came out a couple of years ago, it was top tier. Like, there was a lot of buzz about it. Now, it doesn't have its own way at the moment. You have the likes of the BYD Dolphin, slightly taller, wouldn't be as stylish in my opinion to this. And I don't see as many of them on the road. The MG4 is a popular EV, and it was popular in 2024. But you are going to be getting more and more of this B-segment hatch. Renault 5 has come to the market. The Hyundai Inster isn't a 5-seater, it's a 4-seater, and it wouldn't be, again, as good looking as this, but a bit more affordable if you don't need all of the seats. And you've got the likes of the Dacia Spring, but that's next tier down, and again, only a 4-seater. So 5-seater electric with decent range for value. I think the MG4 is hard to beat. Yes, the Renault 5 is probably a bit more stylish than this. If we're comparing it on the style factor, I think the MG4 is a bit better space-wise. I think the Renault 5 is a bit tighter. It's definitely a bit tighter in the rear, if I remember correctly, and I will be getting it on the channel for an Irish test drive upcoming. The one-pedal drive, I'm all about it. Now, you can turn it on and turn it off, but it also has that automatic handbrake, and the KERS system is what they call it in MG land. So kinetic energy recovery system, they call it that in the Formula 1 land as well. The adaptive cruise control has been good all the way up and down on the motorway since we've had it. Seats are comfortable, and I love an armrest, and it's got padding either side. If you haven't taken one for a test drive, always, that would be my first step, as you can imagine, is try and take it for a test drive if you can. Let's do the run to Banbridge at 120 kilometers an hour up and see what the efficiency has been like. And let's turn around and let's do back down again for the 100 kilometers an hour. 120 up, 100 kilometers an hour down. Let's see what it's like. So we've done the outside and the inside of the MG4. Now I'm going to take it from Dunleary all the way up to the new FastNed charging hub in Banbridge, in just up the far side of Newry. Satnav is saying it's going to take me 154 kilometers an hour and 40 minutes with a couple of tolls. And then I have the odometer change or reset. Long press. Reset. And then 57% battery left with 227 kilometers. Now I'm going to be doing a lot of motorway on it, so I can't see it being that optimistic, but we definitely should make it. There's no problem. It's just how efficient it's going to be on the motorway. I'll go at maximum speed when I can, 100 when I can, 120 when I can. And yeah, I like to do this baseline now that we've just taken the MG4 a couple of months, well, a month ago now, and the fact that there's been some slight updates as we talked about already on the exterior. We have arrived at the new FastNed charging hub in Banbridge, as mentioned, and we are down to 5%. It is telling me get to a charger because it's blinking away. It's not even giving me kilometers. And at 120 kilometers an hour on the motorway, we are up to 19.5 kilowatt hour per 100 kilometers. So it was heavy on juice. I'm going to do 100 kilometers down on the way back, just to give you an update on the difference between the 2 kilowatt hours per 100 kilometers. We've just set up the auto charge feature here on the FastNed system. So technically I should plug in, I'll do a separate video on the FastNed hub here in Banbridge. So yeah, the 120, I don't think it's worth it unless you're really stuck for time, but it does really drain the battery. I think at 100, you're going to get more range. You won't be down as little as this. Okay, I'll give you an update once I get back to Dublin. Back in Dublin after coming back down from Banbridge at 100 kilometers an hour versus that 120 on the way up. And the difference is fairly substantial. It is, let me zoom in. You can see 16.4, just around about there, versus that 19, whatever it was on the last one. Real world, what does that mean? You're getting on the way up a range on the 64 kilowatt hour battery of about 320 kilometers, whereas if you keep it to 100 on the motorway, you're getting near 395. So there's a 70 to 75 kilometer difference there in 10-degree temperature. It's a lot sunnier here, but the temperature, ambient temperature, is still 10 degrees. Yeah, so big difference there on the MG longer range, not the extended range, the long range. WLTP on that is 425 with the standard trim Excite, as we'd call in Ireland, SE as you'd call in the United Kingdom. The WLTP is slightly longer, it's 450, whereas on this upper level trim it is 425. And so with that 100 kilometer hour standard driving, you are getting 395 versus the WLTP of 425. So yeah, hopefully you've enjoyed that refresher. And now that we've had the car for 500 kilometers, I will be back in 6 months, 9 months, 12 months, just to give you updates as to, it won't be as in-depth as this one. It's been a couple of years since we've had the MG4 on the channel, and it's still very popular and some great values out there at the moment. 44 euros a week, as we mentioned. Yeah, a lot of car and a good car for that kind of money. But long-term loan, that's what it's all about, making sure that we're getting the understanding as to what it's like to live with an EV for longer. Hopefully you've enjoyed that. Look around, inside, outside, and the drive. If you haven't already subscribed to the channel, please do so. Hit the like button, leave a comment. And remember, if you think an EV is for you, leave it to me and I'll review. Thank you very much for watching.